this is a short explanation of using Canva for creating a design that can then be used in the Glowforge. So Canva.com is available for free on the internet. You can also have a pro account and pay for it. There are more options when you have a pro account. You have access to a lot more photos and a lot more elements. For basic design, you can use the free. I have a pro account, so what you're seeing is a pro account, but there's only very minor differences. So we're going to start up here. It's canva.com, and we're going to start with just creating a design. I measured the tray first, which the inside of the tray was about 13 by 11, was the kind of the area for the design. So we're going to go with custom dimensions, and we're going to have to change this right here on the right where it says PX. That stands for pixel. We want inches because we can measure by inches. Pixels, I don't know how to measure that. That's more for online stuff and more publicity stuff. So 11, nope, 13 by 11, and then create new design. When you hit create new design, it creates your workspace. So you can see the workspace right there in the middle. Now on the left side you have your little elements that you can add to your design. So you can upload something if you already have something created, a photo or something. You can also use a photo. This gets a little more complex. We're keeping it pretty simple, so we're going to just look at text and an element. So we're going to start with the text. So there are some basic text combinations, font combinations that you can add to your design. If you scroll down, you can see some of the different things. They are colored, and that doesn't really happen on the Glowforge, so I try to keep it pretty basic, and I'm just going to click add a heading at the top, and it's going to add a text box in there, and I'm just going to go ahead and start typing home, and I'm going to drag it up to the top. Now notice as I'm dragging it that you get red lines or pink lines. It's kind of trying to show you where the middle of your design is, both horizontally and vertically. That's exactly the middle right there for that text box. Now if I go up a little higher, you're going to get, or lower, or to the right or left, you're going to get a box that kind of frames, hey, here's a little bit. You might not want to go out of this side of the frame of your design. It gets a little close to the edge. You can do that. It's not going to make a big difference. It just depends on what your design's being used for. So I'm going to keep inside. Now, to change your font, so if you don't like the basic font, then you can come over here, click this up here, because once you're in an element like the text box, you get some options up here. And the basic is the fonts. And I'm going to click on Monument. There's quite a few. Some of these are free, some of these cost. The ones with the little crown actually cost, so the one I'm showing you actually costs. But anything else that doesn't have the little crown means that it's free. So you can also change the font size here, but you can also, and this is the easiest way to do it, is just drag your box on the corner and change it to kind of the size you need it. Now you may be asking yourself, why is she putting just home in one text box? The one thing about Canva is you don't really want one text box with a lot of different fonts and a lot of different sizes. It's actually easier to have lots of text boxes that are different fonts and different sizes, because then you can move them around where you want to. It doesn't like it as much when you try to do different font sizes inside a text box. So I'm actually going to click somewhere else real quick outside and then click on it again. I'm going to do Control-C for copy and then Control-V for paste. I'm going to cheat a little bit, save myself some time. I'm going to paste again, and then I'm actually going to select the text and do Sweet. And I actually want Sweet to be a different font, so I'm going to go back up here to the font, and I'm going to pick one that's a little bit curvy. And you'll notice how different fonts actually can be the same size, just like it is in Word or anything like that. So I'm going to stretch this out again and make it bigger, and then move it. Now I left a little space down here in the bottom because I want to add a little picture of a house or a leaf. So if you wanted to add something like that, like your designs all have a leaf or something down there, We're going to go to Elements, and I'm going to do a search for what I want. So like a house or a leaf. This one makes the most sense to have a house or a heart. We'll do a heart actually this time. So as I'm moving over here, you can see where it says Pro and it has a little crown. So just like with the font where it had the little crown, those are not available unless you have a Pro account, but there are ones that are available that are free. So there's a lot of options in the free. I'm going to just click on that, and I'm going to click and drag it down here, and then I'm going to change it, make it smaller. Now the Glowforge doesn't really do colors, so I am going to go ahead and change this up here on the top left where the little red is, and I'm going to make it black because that's what it's going to look like to me. So I'm going to still make it a little smaller. And there, I know it's in the middle. And now I am going to move my words down a little bit. Now that I have my whole image, I want it. There we go. So it looks like Sweet's a little bit off, but I think that's just because of the font. So I can actually move it if I feel like I want it more centered to the eye. So to me, that's a little more centered on the eye, but not actually centered by text box. So once you're happy with it, you're going to want to download it. So up here in the top right, I'm going to click on Download. And its file type shows up right there as PNG. PNG is a high quality image file. It is suggested, and I would suggest it for the Glowforge. You may be more familiar with JPEG. It's not quite as high quality, so you're going to want the highest quality possible, so when it's put in the Glowforge workspace, then it will transfer all those details. So we're going to click that, and I'm going to click Download, and it is going to want to save, and I'm going to say yes, save it. I don't really want to open it, I want to save it. And it's going to save it just in my download folder. So when I want to send it to Rusty or take it to the library, I can just put it on a USB drive or email it, whichever way works. And it automatically saves it. So if for some reason Rusty would come back and say, hey, that font isn't going to work well, that image isn't going to come out, because sometimes he can tell that beforehand. Sometimes he has to do it and then it doesn't work. You can always just come back into Canva, and as long as you've created the account, which I think you have to even for the free, you'll just come down here and it says your designs, and there it is. You can just click on it and bring it up, and you can edit it, and then you would just download it again. So that's a quick little overview of Canva.